Okay, now today we're going to do some true fire, or some flames if you will, on this helmet. This particular style, there's a couple different things that we've done, and I'm not done with all this yet. I'm going to put some red around the outline, a name on the back. But part of this design has flame licks. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go over how to do true fire or flames with airbrushing. One of the things you want to keep in mind are some rules, basically. So flames will always want to kind of go up. And depending on your project, you might want to have something that looks fast, where flames will be longer and drawn out. Or object might want to look like it's a slower moving object, where flames will be wider and not as tight. But a couple of rules that you want to kind of keep in mind when we're doing true fire will be, you want to build your colors up in layers. You're going to go dark to light, and then you're going to go loose to tight. And what that means is, basically, we're going to start with reds. You're only going to have about 3 or 4 colors in these flames: red, orange, yellow, and a little bit of white. Okay, you can put blue if you want to sometimes, but most of the time it's just going to be based on reds, yellows, orange, and a little bit of white highlights. And also, you're going to build on your the contrast between your layers. The first layer that you put down, we're just going to give a loose reference. So when I spray these in, you'll see what I'm talking about whenever I lay in some red. But you're going to build that, and we're going to be loose when we start, and then we're going to build with some of the shields that we use to get crisp edges with in reference to each flame lick. Now I'm going to start off with crimson, and basically, like, we start here, we'll kind of know that if I just kind of loosely throw in some flame licks to know where they're going to go. I'm not worried about right now what the direction is and everything that's happening. But you can see where the flame lick might go. All right, so this is going to be where I bring in a straight edge later to kind of see that. So as we go up, we'll kind of see some licks, and then you'll just kind of taper off how you'll move your flames. And now this, we're kind of limited at, to where the space is right now. And one of the things you want to keep in mind is just kind of the direction of where you're going. You want to kind of keep your flames kind of going in the same direction, especially, like moving, like if it's fast. But when we get to the top, we'll kind of throw in some more work. This will have like a little bit of flame coming off that way. We'll throw in some color in the bottom and the base. So, kind of gives us a reference to where we're going to start building upon. And again, like I said, when you're laying down your base coat and your reds, you're going to start with red. You're going to kind of build up with oranges and yellows, and then we'll go from there. But this is one of the things that remember, the first part, like when you first lay down your first layer, there is no really We're just laying down a reference. All right, and that's going to give us our generalized area where you're going to be. Gives us a spot to lay down some depth, and these flames will kind of go out, and you'll just kind of know where they're going to flow. All right, just a little bit. The red is kind of basically gives us that first base coat for depth. All right, nothing crazy. All right, and the biggest thing that you gotta kind of, when you're first starting off with this, is don't be afraid to lay some paint down. I mean, you got to be able to just start throwing the paint down and then build off of that. So you're not really committed in this. You can always bring back in some of your shields and cause your licks and stuff to kind of go up. But a lot of this is freehand. But we're going to use some shields to give us a hard edge on certain licks and certain angles. But for the most part, you'll start to see as you build up the second, third layer, the flames really starting to take effect and take shape. But you also have to realize too that you're not just putting down one strong, hard line. Okay, that's some red. Now here you can just throw a little bit of yellow in just to kind of give it a little bit of an orange and yellowish look. And we're not going to go with any detail right now. We're just kind of throwing in a little bit of a base coat of yellow, another layer of depth. Now when I come back in just a second, I'm going to throw some white down, and then we'll cover that back up with some of this yellow. Now, one thing again you want to kind of keep in mind, you're going to use transparent colors, and then the rest will kind of blend in from the white into the yellow and red to make the orange and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, this is where we'll start building on our flame licks. So this particular design will have like smaller licks, so what we'll do is we'll use a smaller shield. These particular ones like this, for instance, like you've got like this little lick right here. Now we're going to throw in a little bit of white. We're going to go from the edge off around it and kind of give that little bit of a kick there, a little bit on this side, and we're going to use it sparingly. All right, so we'll also use the other side just a little bit. One inside, and you can kick in these. You want to get just little hard angles, and as you come up and kind of bring it up, and you want to switch your pattern up a little bit, kind of get into sharp angles on some of these, and some will be a little bit different. So. Okay, so now we'll throw in some yellow. Just kind of gives a little bit of different layer of depth. And you want this to go into everything you've already done. All right, so you're not going to try to just stay on that one little spot. We'll come back in and refine that. We do have black, so remember that. So when we get all of our other stuff in there, we can come back in and kind of redefine it with a little bit of black. We'll come back in with some red to kind of make that a little bit more orange, and then we'll build again on that. We'll build up the next layer. Get a wipe. And again, we just want to use smaller curves and stuff as we go along. And so, like on here, you can just kind of little bit of hints. come back over with some more yellow. And that'll kind of give there. We'll put some more highlights on that. There's a lick in there. I'm going to fix a little bit with some red, and then I'm going to kind of blend off of that a little bit. Darken that down with a little bit more of the red, and then we'll define those lines, and we'll leave that at that. This lick I'm going to detail a little bit more with some white. I'm going to put a little bit of red in there, a little bit of black. I can kind of go back over that a little bit and darken that down and fix that flame as well. Crazy fancy. You just gotta let it end at some point, and then we'll let those be done. The hot spots be the hot spots, and we know that those are some flame licks as it goes up. A little more yellow there. A little more yellow in there. Kind of brings it together. All right. We will let that be the flames off of this black. Now when we get the clear coat on it, it's going to pop a lot more, but that's later when we get that done. As of right now, those will be the hot spots and flames, and we'll work on the rest of the helmet. So just as a kind of a recap, flames you build up in layers. You're going to do loose to tight and then dark to light, and depending on how much more detail you want to get, this is obviously a ball helmet, so you just want that reference of true fire, and once we get the clear coat on, it pops it and it gives it that depth that you're looking for. All those different layers will build up, and you want to see the shadows behind it. Remember, flames are organic, so the flame will always want to continue to kind of have a lick, but it'll ultimately want to go up. Now obviously looking from straight to back, that you're not going to see that as much as you would on the side to kind of come up, but the tighter and the narrower and the longer the flames are, that gives you a reference to speed, as opposed to something that is a little more slower, larger object. But that's kind of how you would give that flame lick, that it's on fire. All right, so we will do the back side with the name, but we'll do another video later on a little bit more in depth.